Have you ever wondered how Sevier County got its name? Well, today we're going to find out, so stick with us here. Hey guys, welcome to Appalachian Cemetery Hunting once again. And today we're looking at cemeteries still in and around the Great Smoky Mountains of East Tennessee. And today's video, as I promised last week, it is chock full of history. So I'm so excited. So let's get on with it. Today's cemetery is the Forks of the Little Pigeon River Cemetery in Sevierville, Tennessee. And as you can see on the map, it's located in Sevierville, close to where State Route 441 and Highway 66 meet. Now, if you're traveling on Interstate 40, you would take the 407 exit onto Highway 66. So I'm going to give you just a second to look at that, and we'll move on. Now, here's a photo showing that the bridge runs alongside of the cemetery. And we have a memorial section here in this cemetery. Here's a look at some of the graves. And this picture is of the same area of the cemetery, but we think the Sevier County Courthouse is sitting in the background here. Now, it does have a historical marker, and it's located right inside the cemetery. Now, I'm going to read this marker for you in case you can't see it. If you do, like me, you see and read everything off of your phone. So, here it goes. Forks of the Little Pigeon Church. 100 yards to the northeast, this Baptist church was established in 1789. It was reportedly the first of any denomination in Sevier County. Spencer Clack, a Revolutionary veteran, was the first church clerk. Richard Wood was the first pastor until his death in 1831, and the church was moved to a new location, but the old cemetery still remains. Now, the original church was destroyed in the Civil War, unfortunately, and the first burial that we could find in the cemetery was 1794, but according to the official record, the first burial was in 1801. So I don't know who's right. But there are only 30 people buried in this cemetery. And as I said earlier, there's a lot of history here. So here we go. We have Hopkins L. Andes, 1808 to 1856. And you notice the hand pointing toward heaven on his headstone. He knew where he was going. And Lord help me with this next name, because this country girl, I don't know, but here I'm going to give it a try. Mary K. Canestric Andes. Sorry if I butchered. 1760 to 1805. And here's a photo of her original headstone, and you can see it is so very worn and weathered. But there is a newer footstone here. And then we have her husband, Peter Andes, 1864 to 1824. And here's his original headstone. And you can also see that inscription on this is very worn too. And of course, he has a newer footstone. And then here's a picture of both their graves. And with headstones this old, I'm surprised they're even upright. They're old. Then we have their son Solomon Andes, 1793 to 1860. And Solomon was born in Virginia, so we're guessing that his parents had migrated from there, of course. We have Benjamin Catlett, 1797 to 1833. And Benjamin served as a private in Bunch's Regiment of the East Tennessee Militia during the War of 1812. We have Richard Catlett, 1794 to 1837, and he served in the East Tennessee militia as a private during the War of 1812 also. We don't know if he was in the same regiment or not as Benjamin. Possibly, I would say they're kin somehow. So if anybody knows that, just let us know a little bit more about it. The Catlett name is very new to me. I think that's maybe the first one I've heard, Catlett. So let's move on. We got Spencer Clack, 1747 to 1832, and he was born in Fairfax County, Virginia. And this is what remains of his original headstone. And this is Spencer's military headstone. He served as a lieutenant in the Virginia militia during the American Revolution. During the war, he served under, now get this, General George Washington. Ain't that cool? He was an early settler of this part of East Tennessee, and he named Sevierville County for his friend John Sevier. There you go. Now we know how Sevier County got its name. The memorial was erected in his honor by the local chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution in 1931. You tell me that is some history right there. Awesome. Now we have Elizabeth Osborne Denton Dickey, 1815 to 1848. Zachariah Isbell Jr., 1745 to 1799, and there is no photo of his grave, but he was born in Virginia, and during the American Revolution, he served as a lieutenant in the Tennessee militia, and he was under the command of John Sevier. And Zachariah fought in the Battle of Kings Mountain in 1780. Then there's George McMahon. We don't have a birth year for him, but he passed away in 1867 and served in the Company I of the 1st United States Colored Heavy Artillery Regiment during the Civil War. Next is James McMahon Sr., 1750 to 1831, and he was born in Dublin, Ireland. And after the family immigrated to Virginia, he volunteered with his father to fight in Lord Dunsmore War, which was fought between the colony of Virginia and the Shawnee and Mingo Indian nations in 1774. He then re-enlisted with his father in the 12th Virginia Militia Regiment during the American Revolution. Now, James was a well-respected trader with the Cherokee Indians. Traders like James were mainly in search of animal furs, for which they exchanged manufactured goods. He and a few others created a community known as the Forks of the Little Pigeon, which developed around them. Sevier County was created in 1794 and named after John Sevier. Now, at a meeting at Isaac Thomas's house the following year, the Forks of the Little Pigeon area was chosen as a county seat and renamed Sevierville. Sevierville or Sevierville? I would say Sevierville. I'm just from this area, so Sevierville. James was donated a 25-acre tract owned by his stepmother, Nancy Carpenter, upon which to erect a town square. That's more history there. Now, this next tombstone only has the initial EP, 1795 to 1831. But now, this headstone is awesome. Look at this unusual face carved into the headstone. Now, it puts me in the mind of the headstones that you see in the old European places, or maybe even up in New England area, and the carving on it, it's a cool headstone. We can go ahead and move on, though. We got James P.H. Porter, We don't have a birth date, but we know he passed away in 1846 and served as a major in the East Tennessee Militia during the War of 1812. And now we have Alex Preston, 1782 to 1816. And according to the inscription on his headstone, he immigrated from Ireland in 1802. And now we have Elijah Chin Rogers, 1774 to 1841. He was born in Virginia, and his parents moved the family to Sevier County in around 1789. Sevier County was a part of the Western Territory of North Carolina during this period. Now, Elijah became an ordained minister when he was 36 years old, and according to the inscription on his headstone, he belonged to the Baptist denomination. Now here's another headstone that only has initials. We don't even have dates for this person, but the initials is SFT. And now we have Stuart Rush Toomey, May of 1843 to September of 1843, only a baby, 4 months old when he passed. We have his brother, William Bruce Toomey, 1841 to 1848, and he was just under 7 years old. So sad. Now, as you can see, the top of this headstone was broken off, so we can't find any names or dates for this person, unfortunately. And we have no information who's buried here. As you can see, the inscription is weathered away. It's pitiful. We have another grave of an unknown person, and it looks like a simple field stone to us. It could have had some, like I said, these are super, super old, so it may have had something at one time and it just weathered away. Now, the fourth person, we don't have any information on the stone. However, if you look real close, you can make out the letter H. They are 8 people buried in here that we don't have photos of their graves, and they are Catherine Clack. She was born in 1778, but we don't have a death date. Mary Beavers Clack, 1745 to 1840, and she was the wife of Spencer Clack that we looked at a little earlier in the video. We have Elizabeth Miller Isbell, 1750 to 1796. She was born in Virginia, and she was the wife of Zachariah Isbell Jr. that we looked at earlier. Rachel Calvert McMahon, 1770 to 1840. She was the wife of James McMahon Sr. that we had in the video a little earlier, and she also was born in Virginia. Then we have Beulah Catherine Clack Rogers, 1778 to 1850. And Beulah was the wife of Pastor Elijah Chin Rogers that we had just talked about. We have Henry Rogers, and he was 1740 to 1794, another immigrant from Virginia. And we have his son, Josiah Rogers, 1766 to 1834. And the very last person in this cemetery is P. Rush Toomey, 1773 to 1801. Now that is going to wrap up those who are buried here that we could find and we know of the first settlers of East Tennessee. And we can go back over some of the ancestry names for you. McMahon, Clack, Toomey, Rogers. Oh gosh, there are just so many people here. Preston, Andes. I mean, we have a lot of names here that I hope that is in your ancestry tree. There's Isbell. But yeah, that, if you sit and think about it, how many people go by this cemetery. I mean, if them people could see how it is down there today, whoa, Would it blow their minds? But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this cemetery. I was so excited to bring it to you and to come across it. Just the history, the ancestry. If you're kin to these people, let us know. That's what we do this for, to help you all out with your ancestry. So be sure to hit and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And we will see you next week. And oh yeah. Before I get off here, someone mentioned if we was going to start doing live videos again. And yes, we are. And pretty soon. So I do want you to keep in mind that when we do live videos, we either hit the older sections if they're large cemeteries because of time, or sometimes if it's outside like it has been lately, it's been super windy, you can't even hear me. It really messes up the video. So we are going to get back out there as soon as we can, and we will see you next week with a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.